Hey, it's good to be with you again on this Monday. I have a quote that I'd love to share with you. It is one of the very first quotes I can remember ever having a really significant impact on me and kind of leading me into this place where I just really fell in love with quotes, probably because this one had such a great impact. And I think I was probably around 17 years old, and I saw this somewhere in a magazine maybe, and it said, "Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes." Now, I was a really stifled person communicatively. I had to shut down a lot of my communication. It wasn't allowed, it wasn't accepted, it wasn't received well in my household if I were to communicate my opinion. And I could make a whole bunch of videos about why, but you don't need to know my family history. You just understand that it spoke to me because there were often things that I wanted to say, and I would get this giant lump in my throat. It felt like a big rock just stuck there, and I couldn't, even if I wanted to. And this saying, this quote that just happened to land in my life at a perfect time, it doesn't mean that I was right away able to. It just triggered me on a journey of yeah, I have to learn how to speak my mind, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it makes me nervous, because however the other person may perceive it. Now, I am a recovering people pleaser, and so that mindset, that operation mode of functioning in life of trying to make everybody around you happy so the boat isn't rocked, right? It can be really hard to speak your truth because you know it's going to rock the boat. Now, I'm not suggesting that we should just go around and speak our mind to everybody and anybody because this quote said to. I'm speaking about those really hard truths that you need to say out loud to yourself. You need to say out loud to your partners, your spouses, your parents, your good friends, right? Whatever it is, speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. You got to get those words out. You got to get those sentiments out, and you have to communicate on them because that's the only way that we move through them. When we just stuff them and hold them, it stores in our body, energetically and physically. It stores in our body. And as you've heard me say, our issues are in our tissues. And so one way to lessen how many issues we hold in our tissues is to speak our mind, even when we know that it may not be received in a peaceful, receptive way. We end up living our lives by other people's design when we don't speak our mind. And we may think that we're okay in that moment not speaking our mind. It's okay, we can stomach that one and we can stomach the next one. But after many years of doing this, you are guaranteed to end up a miserable and resentful person. And you have no one to blame but yourself. I mean, of course, the other person involved, but communication of your boundaries, communication of your needs, communications of your values and your beliefs, those are all super important, right? We are designed to be expressive beings. And when we don't express, and again, I'm not saying that we just say whatever we want with no filter and no thought put to it. We have to have tact and have respect and have an objective in mind when we want to communicate these things that are healthy and wholesome. It's not just about speaking your mind just because you want to tell that person like it is and it's about time you spoke up. What is your objective in communicating? What's your objective that you want to get at? And the only way to get to that objective is by speaking about it, right? But don't speak about it without knowing what your objective is with the conversation. Always know, what is my objective with this conversation? Where do I want to end up? And not that we attach to that, but we use that as navigation for the conversation because we tend to get lost, right? So again, I'm not just saying to just go speak whatever to whoever. I'm talking about those hard moments, those difficult moments, right? To speak up for yourself, take a stand for yourself, take a stand for somebody else, take a stand for your dreams. Because what happens is we just stuff and we stuff and we stuff. And then eventually we hit like our capacity, and then everything just starts to implode on us because we're no longer happy. And now we're because we hit capacity, it's all spilling out, but in the most unhealthy and uncontrollable way. So when we speak our minds earlier, when we speak our hearts earlier on in the scenarios and the situations, the relationships, the circumstances, when we can speak our mind or speak our heart, even when we're nervous and uncomfortable, it's going to allow us to continue forward without all this accumulation that we're just stuffing and stuffing that just spills out at the most inopportune times. So, my friends, what is something, a truth of yours that you have been wanting to communicate to somebody or with yourself that you haven't done so yet? And what's holding you back? And I want you to think about this. What's it costing you to stuff? What's it costing you to hold that in? What's it costing you to like essentially erase all boundaries because you're not speaking up? What's it costing you? And just sit with that, sit with this idea and this concept of your lived experience matters, as well as all the other people out there. And it's okay to speak up your mind and rock the boat. There's no way to make it through life without rocking the boat. There's no way to sail the seas and not encounter storms, big or little. And so it's not about how do we just not have situations where uncomfortable conversations are necessary. They are inevitable, even with your most closest, dearest friends. Give it time. It will happen. It will happen. It's just a part of life. And so how can we find the courage within us to speak our mind even when we know our voice is going to shake? Often it's by getting clarity on what is our objective in saying this thing to that person. Like if I have a boundary that's crossed, I can just wig out and be super mad and yell at that person and make them feel horrible for crossing my boundary, and then we just create this big fight where now two people that care about each other are repelled by each other. Or I can do my best to bring up something that didn't sit well with me, or that is sitting well with me, because sometimes it's like the ideas, oh my god, I have all these ideas, but if it's scary to say them out loud because they might come true, right? It could be on either end of the spectrum. But if I take my time to just say, okay, I'm feeling this way and I want to talk to this person, if I can reflect on start with the end in mind. I think that was like John Maxwell that says that. Start with the end in mind. What is that result that I'm looking for? I'm looking for some kind of cohesion, some kind of healing, some kind of meeting in the middle or understanding of each other. Or I'm looking for a boundary to be honored, something like this. If I know that that's my my objective, right? That I'm not trying to burn a bridge by speaking my voice, because sometimes that's what happens. We speak our voice and we light a fire and a bridge gets burned or it gets damaged. And I'm not saying that by having an objective that you're going to completely avoid that process, but you're much more likely to avoid that process when you have your objective is, I want to heal with this person. I want to come to a place of understanding and respect with this person. I want there to be cohesiveness in the relationship still with this person. That will help you navigate how you have that conversation and speaking your mind, right? Because it's one thing to just speak your mind and then leave it, but speak your mind and then where is it that you want to end up? Where is it that you want to end up by saying this thing? Because why are we saying it? Why even say the thing? Because we're trying to make change in our lives. We're trying to have transformation in our lives. We're trying to improve our lives. We're trying to excel or accelerate in our lives. We're trying to up level in our lives. We're trying to go places. We're trying to manifest certain things and experience a particular type of life. And so knowing that you want to move in that direction with this person or group that you need to speak your mind up to, getting clear on what the end result looks like to you. so that as you speak your mind, you know where you're going in the conversation and you're not just vomiting all over a person, because that's no fun either. So take some time to think, like, where have I been backing down and speaking my mind? And even those of us who are good at speaking our minds, where can I soften my edges? Where can I soften my edges? All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's Monday message and that you found it helpful. Please like, share, comment, send to a friend. And I look forward to our next Monday session. And have a beautiful, blessed week. I'll see you next time. From my heart to yours, so much love from me to you. Namaste.